a slip in your palm and a hole in your chest. Black coffee on the felt, man, you look like a mess. 3-team parlay turned to dust in your hand. Now you stare at the chips like they made you this man. But don't you go quiet, don't you fade from the floor. Your name still means something to somebody for sure. Put the glass down, baby. Look at me now. Hold on, hold on. Not tonight, not now. Hold on. Let me pull you out. That fella bites hard, but it don't get the crown.
What's up, everybody? It's Toad back with you, Toadstool Sports. Thursday, June 11th. Do not listen to me on anything that I say, ever. We're on a bad run over the last couple days, whatever. Under in Yankees, Indians, whatever. That had no chance. Whatever. There was an error early on that definitely messed things up. Then the Yankees side of it couldn't hold on to what could have been a push. But Rodon couldn't hold on to it either. And then, of course, the Yankees wound up winning anyway. So, really, we get, the best of everything in that fucking game. I'm going to give out one play today in baseball, and it is going to fucking lose because I hate this board. I feel like I'm forcing it. I don't even like this play. Do not listen to me. Whatever. The first game up is Arizona at Miami. Miami is on the verge of a sweep. You know, I talk about when a team is on the verge of a sweep, the other team usually will have a little bit more motivation to try to avoid the sweep, especially after losing 8-0 yesterday, which I did not think was going to happen. But this might not be the best matchup here for Arizona. Miami, I don't know if they really have a look ahead. Maybe they do. They have Pittsburgh next. Possible they look ahead to that game. Pittsburgh has been all right. These bullpens, Miami probably has the better bullpen. They used 3 guys out of it yesterday. Arizona used 3 as well, but lighter usage. Miami is 7th in bullpen here, arranged by WHIP. Arizona 8th, but their ERA is not that good, so Miami's bullpen is better by a bit. Neither offense has been that good. Miami 19, Arizona down at 25 now. Merrill Kelly pitching for Arizona. And he is the only legit starter here, at least, for Arizona. I mean, not the only legit starter on Arizona's team, but I mean, he's a legit starter, and Miami's going with a bullpen game in this game is what I mean to say. Kelly has not been good so far, though, this year. Even though he came back on a delay, he was injured, pitched poorly, and then started pitching better, but he also was bad in his last outing. He's got a 5.71 ERA, 1.49 WHIP. He's been better on the road, though, 4.5 road ERA. So he might pitch better here because it is a more pitcher-friendly environment than his home stadium is in Arizona, although he's been on Arizona most of his career, so you would think he'd be used to that. And his career numbers are not anywhere near this bad. But he's struggled, man. He's had multiple walks in his last 3 outings. He's got some control issues right now. His strikeout rate is really low, even for him. Hit rate is too high. He's allowed too many home runs. His walk rate's not that good. These are not numbers that I would really want to trust, although, like I said, he did get better. Like, for most of May, he was better. So you got to give him that. But he faced some weak offenses in there, too. Giants twice, Rockies, although it was in Coors Field, Mets. Miami's not exactly a strong offense, but Kelly does not do well against them. 41 at bats, 11-1 strikeout walk ratio is good. 341 average, 918 OPS. Not good. Tyler Phillips getting the start for Miami. He's kind of young still, a converted reliever, 2.08 ERA, 1.36 WHIP, not very good though. He's been good at home though, 0.98 ERA at home, but most of this is in relief appearances. I don't even know how many actual starts he's made. He started 2 games, but he usually goes fewer than 5 innings, so I don't know what we're going to get out of this guy here. It looks like they were going to let him try to get to 5 innings last time. He didn't make it against Tampa. He did make it 5 innings the previous outing. Those are, I assume, his 2 starts. And the one that he made, it was against the Mets, because of course it was. I don't really trust Phillips here either. He's got a high walk rate. His hit rate is low, though, but that is a bad walk rate. His strikeout rate is not great either. I don't see much to like here. His numbers are good against Arizona, but we only have 7 at-bats here. 6 hitters have faced him. 143 average, 393 OPS, 2-1 strikeout walk ratio. I think this game looks like an over to me. That might be the way that I would look at this game. I'm not going to give out a play on it, but I think that's probably the way I would lean here. Yeah, I don't like the pitching setup for either team here. Where is it? The money looks like it agrees. 67% of the tickets on the over, 94% of the cash on the over. Total's 8.5, juice to the over, but that's fairly reasonable, though I know Miami, pitcher-friendly park. But I think the offenses could get going in this game. Although you have to worry about maybe distracted hitting because it's getaway day and these teams are traveling after this, whatever, getting ready for the next series. Money's also backing Miami's bullpen game here. Professional money seems to not like Merrill Kelly. He's got Arizona's got 56% of the tickets, 72% of the cash on Miami at a pretty small price, lower than minus 120. So do with that info what you want. I don't really disagree with that. Miami may be the right side there. All right, next up is going to be the one play that I have, and you know it sucks. We're never going to win another play ever on this show. I don't even know why I'm giving out any plays here. I don't like the board at all. Over 9.5 Minnesota-Detroit because they fucked me on an under the other day. Both games in the series have gone over, so obviously that means this one's clearly going to go over, right? Yeah, probably not. It's probably going to go under just because I said that. 9.5, it's a big number, though. I mean, the odds makers are kind of telling you something with that number, with offenses that haven't really been that good. Although, again, these teams have scored enough runs in this series to get it done, so can't find an over 9 out there. If you can, then obviously you could do that. If there's an over 9, minus 120 or something, that's better because 9 is a key number. Teams have to break a 4-4 tie, so the 9 is key. I could only find 9.5 out there, though. But I think this is going to be a game where we get runs. These teams have split the series so far, so I think both teams will show up. We've had double-digit runs scored in both games so far. Although the loser has only scored 4 in each. But I think we're going to get some runs here. Minnesota, and well, a big part of this handicap is fading these bullpens. Minnesota's bullpen is ass, and they used 5 guys yesterday. Detroit's bullpen is not that much better, and they used 4. So we can fade these bullpens here. Both bullpens have an ERA above 4. Minnesota's 28th based on whip. They're bad. Detroit, not much better at 22nd. These teams' offenses haven't been that good, but Detroit, 20th. Minnesota, 16th. I think they can at least get something done against pitchers that they're familiar with, and that's where I'm going with this kind of. Zebby Matthews is pitching for the Twins, and I do like him, but there are some things I don't like about him in this game, and he's fucked us over recently, so fuck him. And watch, he's going to go out there and throw a perfect game and, fuck us over again here. He's got a 4.15 ERA, 1.09 whip is good. I think he's good generally. He's got talent. He hasn't really been good yet in the majors, though. But one red flag here so far is he's been awful on the road. He's got an 8.71 road ERA. This is also a day game, and he's been terrible in the day. I usually don't look at day-night splits, but he's got a 5.19 day ERA. So I think this looks bad for Matthews here. He was good in his last outing, but it was against Kansas City at home. And Kansas City, I believe, is the lowest scoring road team in baseball. They absolutely suck offensively on the road. And Matthews still had 4 walks in that game and 2 strikeouts. That is not a good sign. His overall strikeout walk ratio is fine, though, and his hit rate is good. So I'm not going to complain about really any of his overall numbers here, but I don't like this matchup. He was really bad in the previous game against Pittsburgh, which I think we lost on an under in that one. Fuck you, Zebulon. Matthews has not been good against Detroit in his history. 33 at-bats, 303 average allowed, 910 OPS, 10-5 strikeout walk ratio. So Detroit is one team that is familiar with him, and I think some of Matthews... some of the reason why he's been okay so far, I think, is because he faced some offenses that weren't familiar with him. Although I think he is getting better, but this does not look like an ideal matchup for him. Keter Montero pitching for Detroit. He's okay. I know we're going against a couple of guys that have good whips, I know. 3.95 ERA, 1.03 whip. He's been worse at home, 4.26 home ERA, so we're getting the better of the home road splits here for going over, fading both pitchers here. He's also bad during the day, 5.06 day ERA. So we're getting the better of the day-night splits going against both starters here as well. Montero in his last outing only had one strikeout against Seattle. That usually is a red flag to me. He's had some low strikeout numbers recently. I mean, he's been surprisingly good for Detroit this year as a guy who... He is still young, and they had him working as like a long relief guy and a spot starter. He's in the rotation, partially because they have so many injuries. And he's been all right. He's got a really low hit rate. His walk rate's not that bad. His strikeout rate is really low, though. And he is fly ball heavy, although it hasn't translated into home runs yet, really. Minnesota doesn't have that much experience against him, even though I know I said they're familiar with him. They have four guys who have seen him for 20 at-bats, but they've hit him fine. 350 average, 1,100 OPS. So I think there are a lot of indicators towards an over here. All of the splits line up against both starting pitchers here. I don't like either bullpen. This is the best I got. Over in Minnesota and Detroit. The under has 58% of the tickets, which makes no sense to me. 95% of the cash on the over. So at least the read right now is saying over. The read is also indicating towards Detroit. 71% of tickets, 79% of the cash on Detroit. They're favored at around minus 130. So the professional money and the odds makers are all kind of telling you they don't like Zebulon in this game. So do with that information what you want. Whatever. That's it. All right. Hello, everybody. Gerald, Kyle, what's up? Dirty Sock. Flat Earth Grappler, what's up? Freedom, what is Freedom 250? I feel like I know what that is, but I don't remember. I don't know. What the hell is that? I have no idea. All right. Next game is St. Louis and the Mets. I got yesterday's game wrong. The Mets, embarrassing performance from them again. I don't know what the hell this is that I'm looking at. What is this here? Just ridiculous memes going on here. I don't know what the hell this is. I see Jameson tie on. I don't even know who this upside down White Sox player is here. And then Gaussman here. What the hell is this shit? Gaussman with like a... What is that, a lightsaber that's exploding? A firecracker? I don't know what's going on here. Jameson tie on, drinking tea like a homosexual? I have no idea. Anyway, New York Mets. They're on the verge of getting swept. I don't want to get this channel banned, though. Will St. Louis complete the sweep? I don't know. I mean, I don't think St. Louis is good, man. I think they're not as good as their record makes it look. I think the Mets are better than their record makes it look, which is why the Mets have been favored in every game in the series. But you could kind of predict they wouldn't win the first game because it was a return home spot, and that's a tough spot. They were returning cross-country. I thought they'd bounce back yesterday, but my guess is they used David Peterson. Is that why they lost? Let me take a look here. That is exactly, how did I know? That is exactly why they lost, although their opener didn't do well either, Warren. But David Peterson came in and totally fucked them in that game. How did I know? How did I guess? So that's why the Mets lost that game. Mets should get some better pitching in this game, though. Mets should be highly motivated to avoid the sweep. There's a reason why they're favored, even though they have the worst record here. The odds makers are telling you there's not much of a gap between these two teams. And in fact, the Mets are favored by more than home field here. So they're telling you the Mets should be the better team in this particular matchup at the very least. Bullpen-wise, the Mets did use bullpen arms yesterday because it was a bullpen game. They used 4 guys out of the bullpen. That's not great. St. Louis's bullpen is more rested. They used 2. St. Louis's bullpen has actually been okay recently. They're 16th now in bullpen, and their ERA is below 4 now, so their bullpen can compete here. These bullpens are not that far off from each other in this matchup just because of the rest, although the Mets generally are the better bullpen, number 5. But that advantage is somewhat gone right now because of the rest scenario. Hitting-wise, the Mets are still awful. They're 29th. St. Louis is 14th. Obviously, the Mets do not have an offensive edge against basically anybody except maybe San Diego. My man, Hunter Dobbins, is pitching for St. Louis here. The Yankee hater, Hunter Dobbins. I like him. I'm not sure he's a great pitcher, but I think he's a serviceable pitcher. He's got a 2.77 ERA. 1.31 whip is not very good, though. He's been bad on the road so far. 6.23 road ERA. Although, remember, this is a really small sample size. He's made 3 starts so far. He's gotten a little bit better with each start, so that's good that he's moving in the right direction here. He had a 5-inning shutout last time out against the Reds and picked up a win. Decent outing from him there. His strikeout rate is pretty good right now. It's usually not that high, though. His hit rate is fine. His walk rate's a little bit high so far. But he is moving in the right direction. He's facing a weak Met offense here. They only have 8 at-bats against him. 4 of their hitters have faced him before. 1 extra base hit, a double from Alvarez. He's the only player on the team that has any hits against him. They got no strikeouts, no walks. Do with that info what you want. 2 for 8, no strikeouts, no walks. Dobbins might do okay here because like I said, he's moving in the right direction. This is probably a decent matchup for him, and they haven't really seen that much of him. Although I think based on talent, I think Christian Scott is the better pitcher. He's got a 2.5 ERA. His whip is not that good, though, 1.31. These guys have similar ERAs and whips right now. Scott has been worse at home than on the road, but his home ERA is not bad, 3.27. He pitched fine in his last game, which we got a win on that one, but it was mostly a situational spot there, fading San Diego there. Scott has actually been pretty good, though, over his last 3 starts. He's got at least 5 innings in all 3. He's allowed 1 run total across that span, and he's gotten his walk rate down a bit there. So he's got whatever this is, a 16-6 strikeout walk ratio over that span. That's not excellent, but it's not horrible. His hit rate is pretty good right now. It's low. His walk rate is definitely too high. That's where he's got to fix what he's doing. His strikeout rate is good, over 1 per inning by quite a bit. But, yeah, that walk rate's got to go down. That's the problem right now with him. St. Louis has never seen him, so he should have an advantage here over St. Louis because they've never faced him before. I think my read on this game is probably a first 5 under, though. I do kind of lean to the Mets a little bit here. I think Scott might match up a little bit better, and that plus the motivational edge they might have, although their bullpen edge is a little bit erased. But they didn't really use any of their best bullpen arms yesterday. Like, one of the guys they used was Peterson, obviously. So they're around minus 140 something. The price is that for a reason. 54% of tickets, 57% of the cash on the Mets. So the money is coming in towards the Mets. I probably don't disagree. As far as the under, though, the full game total is surprisingly high at 9. So the odds makers are kind of telling you they think there are going to be runs in this game. Money is coming in on the over as well. 70% of the tickets on the under, 73% of the cash on the over. But to me, it looks like it's going to be a slow starting game. Like, I think both starters might have decent matchups there. Although you worry about Dobbins on the road, but it's such a small sample size to look at there. Yeah, I think first 5 under makes some sense, and slight lean to the Mets as well there. All right. No, I'm gonna keep doing baseball. Baseball is like the main focus during the summer. Dobbins, no, Hunter Dobbins is he was on the Red Sox last year, and he was notorious for hating the Yankees and talking shit about the Yankees all the time, all of which is awesome. And then I believe his father played baseball or something, but was like a minor league player. And I forget exactly what he said. I don't know. People were trying to fact check something that he said about his father's career, and nobody could like actually determine whether it was true or not. I don't remember exactly what it was, but his father was like a minor league pitcher or something. All right. Texas at Kansas City. These teams have split the series so far. Kansas City did just lose a 3-game win streak. But Texas, I believe, just ended a losing streak, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, they didn't. Never mind. I thought they were on a losing streak. I don't know why I thought that. So I think both teams are going to be motivated here. Maybe Kansas City a little bit flat after losing a win streak, but it was only a 3-game win streak, so I don't think that really matters that much. As far as the bullpens, Texas is the significantly better bullpen, but they did use 4 guys out of it yesterday. Kansas City used everyone out of their bullpen, though, so Kansas City is definitely at a bullpen disadvantage here. I would not want anything to do with that bullpen here. They're 29th in WHIP. They're actually tied, actually, with the Reds in WHIP for dead last, and their ERA is a little bit better. But, yeah, they suck. And then as far as Texas's bullpen, they're pretty good. They're number 6. They have one of the best ERAs as well. So there is a big bullpen edge for Texas here, even though they did use some of their guys yesterday. Kansas City is 25th in offense, and Texas is 20th. So Texas is just the better overall team, man. Kumar Rocker is pitching for Texas, though. He's been okay, 3.54 ERA, but his whip is not that good, 1.33. He's been bad on the road as well, 4.66 road ERA. Rocker, he's a guy you want to back more so when he's at home, which makes sense because Texas is a very pitcher-friendly ballpark. He's not as good on the road. This might be a bad environment for him because Kansas City has, I guess, become a hitter-friendly park now that they moved the walls in. Rocker was good in his last outing, but that was, of course, at home against Cleveland, and he pitched against Kansas City the previous game at home, of course, and shut them out for 6 innings. So he was good in those 2 outings, and in fact, he's been good in 4 of his last 5 outings. He's been good and allowed 2 runs combined over those outings. But again, the majority of them were at home. One was at Coors Field, believe it or not, but the rest of them were at home. I don't know what else to say about it, but yeah, I don't know that he's going to actually do well here, even though he's been pitching okay recently. Kansas City did just see him, which might help Kansas City a little bit because, when a team hasn't really seen a guy and then they see him, they become more familiar with him and they might be able to adapt and change what they did last time against them. Rocker, his problem is really the walks. His walk number is too high. His hit rate's pretty good. His strikeout rate is low as well, but the walks are really the main issue with them. He does have good numbers against Kansas City, but most of it was in that one start. 23 at-bats against him, 130 average, 361 OPS, 3.3 strikeout walk ratio. Not very good, though. But they might be able to hit him a little bit better this time around. I don't know. I don't want to fully trust Rocker here. He's going up against Waka. Rocca against Waka. Waka is the better pitcher. I mean, he's the more established pitcher. He's been pretty steady for Kansas City. He's got a 3.44 ERA, 1.14 whip. He's better at home, so the home road splits are definitely in favor of him here. 2.45 home ERA. He wasn't great in his last game against Minnesota. He also was not very good at Texas the game before that, which is a little bit of a red flag. Not pitching well in one of the most pitcher-friendly ballparks. That's not a good sign, really, that he got rocked by Texas in that game. He gave up 4 walks in that outing, too. I don't know what the hell that was. I think we might have lost on an under of some kind in that game. I don't remember. Waka, his overall numbers are about what you would expect from him, though. He has a really low hit rate. His strikeout rate's not very high, but he's not a strikeout pitcher. And his walk rate is okay. So, he's not bad. He might be able to regain form here. I mean, when you see, Rocker did really well in his last game against Kansas City. Waka was bad in his last game against Texas. Sometimes that will, zigzag a little bit because, the pitcher might, change whatever the hell he did in that game. Waka against Texas, though, he hasn't actually been that good against them in his career. So it might not even help that he could make adjustments because he's got 129 at bats against them, 279 average, 802 OPS, 29-13 strikeout walk ratio. Those numbers are not good. So, I don't know, man. I mean, there is a reason why this total is ridiculous at 10.5. Really, 10.5 in a walk-a game. Odds makers are continuing to tell you that Kansas City is now like a hitter-friendly ballpark. I don't like it, but I think an over might make sense in this game. You got one really bad bullpen that's completely used up, Kansas City. Texas, their bullpen's good, but they are a bit used after yesterday. Both pitchers might be untrustworthy here. 52% of tickets, 79% of the cash on the over 10.5. And it is that high for a reason. So do with that info what you want, but this could be an over. 54% of tickets, 56% of the cash on Texas. Kansas City's favored around -118. When I first looked at this, I was like, well, Waka clearly has the better of the splits here, home and road. So I was thinking Kansas City, like first 5, made some sense here. Maybe it really doesn't, though. I don't know. I mean, the money is coming in at Texas. If you're going to go Texas, go full game with it, though, because they have the bullpen advantage still. So if you play Texas, I would go full game. If you play Kansas City, I would go first 5 on it. I don't have a strong opinion, though, really, on the side. There are, like, conflicting factors there. The last afternoon game is Cubs at Colorado. Colorado is on the verge of a sweep of the Cubs here. Absolutely ridiculous that the Cubs might get swept by the Rockies. I don't know who do the Rockies play next. I forget. I don't really think it's a look ahead though. But the Rockies might just continue to be focused because they're playing the Cubs. It would be crazy if they swept them. They're playing the A's next. So two teams that play in the most hitter-friendly parks get to play each other. That game is probably going to be back in that Sacramento stadium. Oh, God. Anyway, this game is in Coors Field. Cubs at Colorado. Cubs should be a little bit extra motivated because this would be embarrassing if they get swept by the Rockies. The Cubs have the better bullpen here. Cubs used 4 guys out of the bullpen yesterday. Rockies used 4 as well. Cubs have the better bullpen. They have the bullpen edge. They're number 9 in bullpen here. Rockies have the worst bullpen ERA. They're number 25 in whip, but they're a bad bullpen. They're one of the worst. Cubs have the number 13 offense. They've fallen off offensively a bit. Rockies are number 16. Edward Cabrera pitching for the Cubs here. He's had some issues this year. 4.99 ERA. 1.42 whip. Those are not good numbers. He's been a little bit better on the road, believe it or not. 4.71 road ERA. I don't know if that translates to Coors Field, though. He got knocked around. He gave up 8 runs against San Francisco last time out. Although, remember, that was a return from injury, though. So maybe there's just something, I don't know. Maybe that return from injury just wasn't quite ready. Usually guys are only going to go back out there if they're ready, but maybe you can give him a pass for that. He did still have 6 strikeouts and 1 walk in that outing, but getting knocked around by a weak offense like San Francisco is a red flag, though. So that's not good. Cabrera overall, his strikeout rate is fine. It's about what you'd expect, but his hit rate is too high and his walk rate is too high. And he's allowed a lot of home runs, and that's not a good thing when you're going to be pitching in Coors Field. He's not really that fly ball heavy as a pitcher, though. So the amount of home runs he's allowed is a little bit concerning, but that's not really the style of pitcher that he is. And he gave up 3 against the Giants, which maybe that was a bit of an outlier. I don't know. His numbers against Colorado were good overall. They really don't even have that much experience against him. They have 5 hitters who have faced him, 16 at bats, 125 average, 364 OPS. Do with that information what you want. He might pitch better here. I think it's really difficult to say. And I looked at his history. He last pitched in Coors Field in late 2024, I think, and he was fairly good in that start. So I don't know if you want to put that much stock into that. I did not look further into his history in Coors Field, though. And Colorado, they have a guy going, Ryan Feltner. He might actually be their best starting pitcher, which I know doesn't mean much when it's the Colorado Rockies, but he's actually been good in Coors Field, believe it or not. 4.22 ERA, 1.16 WHIP. That's not bad. 3.24 home ERA. I don't know how, but he's been pretty good at home, and he's not a fly ball heavy pitcher, really. So that does help when you're pitching in Coors Field. He's had 2 good starts in a row at home, including one shutout of San Francisco. So he fared a lot better against San Francisco than Cabrera did. He was good in his last outing against the Brewers as well. 1 hit them through 6 innings. Feltner, he looks good right now. He's feeling it. He's feltning it right now. Well, that doesn't sound great. He's allowed fewer than 1 hit per inning. His walk rate is too high. His strikeout rate's not great, but he's been all right for Colorado. Maybe not necessarily a guy you want to fade. Numbers against Chicago, they only have 5 guys who have seen him. And just like on the opposite end, just like Cabrera, 2 for 16 is what these guys are against him. 125 average, 425 OPS, 3 strikeouts, 4 walks, though. So the walks are not great there, but 3 of them are Swanson. But it's interesting that I think both pitchers have faced 5 guys in the opposing lineup, and both opposing lineups, I think, are 2 for 16 off these opposing pitchers. Very, very strange. It is possible that the Rockies get the sweep here, but their bullpen could screw them here. Like, I don't think Feltner is going to be the one that causes them to lose this game necessarily. Cubs are favored. I mean, we know that. The Rockies get disrespected in the market, and maybe rightfully so. The Cubs are around minus 150 something here on the road. They're expected to win this game. 75% of tickets, 81% of the cash on the Cubs. They should have the motivation here, but Cabrera's been in really bad form. I don't see how you could trust him here. Money's also hitting the over in this game at 11. I don't know about that either. Like, I could see an argument for a first 5 under here if both pitchers live up to their matchup numbers here and what they could actually do. I could see the offenses being slow to start here. So I don't know. I don't think I really would want to be on an over in this game. I don't know. Do with that info what you want. It's a difficult game to figure out, really. What's happening with Chicago? I can't stand the Bears because I don't like Caleb Williams. I think they're massively overrated. Oh, right. You're a Rockies fan. That's right. They're playing against the Cubs, yes. I have nothing really against the Cubs. I mean, they're a maligned organization. And I just rewatched Rookie of the Year yesterday just because I was like, why not? I need something light. I forgot John Candy was in that. R.I.P. John Candy, very, very funny man in his time, man. He's one of the best parts of that movie. Him and then Daniel Stern is in it. Daniel Stern is pretty ridiculous in it. But yeah, it's one of those 90s, kids movies, whatever you want to say. I don't know. It's the baseball parts of it are ridiculous. Like, I think some of the writers don't know baseball, but whatever. All right. Yeah, John Candy is the announcer, like the radio announcer or whatever in it. Yeah, he was really good. All right. What do we want to do here? All right, let's just keep going, whatever. Dodgers and Pittsburgh. These teams have split now. Pittsburgh just ended a 4-game losing streak with a win yesterday. So ending that losing momentum might help Pittsburgh out a little bit. Might give them some new momentum here, but I do not like this matchup for Pittsburgh, as you'll see in a minute here. I think both teams show up for this game. This is a pretty big series. Dodgers used 3 guys out of the bullpen yesterday. Pittsburgh used 3 as well, but they used Mlodzinski as a long relief man, so Pittsburgh's bullpen is kind of rested here. Dodgers' bullpen has actually been struggling recently. They're down to number 4 in WHIP, but their ERA is going way up. So the Dodgers are starting to have some bullpen issues again. So that's not good for them because that was their one main issue last year, and it looks like it's happening again. Still better than Pittsburgh, though. Pittsburgh's bullpen is not very good at all at 20th. Dodgers are number 1 in offense. Pittsburgh number 6. Justin Robleski pitching for the Dodgers. He's been good. I don't know how he keeps doing it because he's like a junk pitcher, but he keeps pitching well. 2.62 ERA, 1 whip. He's been pretty good on the road, 2.31 road ERA, so he's been better on the road. Just pitched in Arizona, shut them out for 6 innings after holding Philadelphia to 1 hit in 7 innings the start before that, and his strikeout rate was pretty good. 13-0 strikeout walk ratio of those 2 starts, too. He's in good form right now. He's had a couple of bad starts, but he's mostly pitched well. His strikeout rate is still low, but his hit rate's really low. His walk rate is pretty low. I don't know, man. I don't know how he keeps doing this, but he does. And his numbers against Pittsburgh, they don't have much experience against him. They only have 7 at-bats against him. But they're 0 for 7 with 4 strikeouts and no walks. So they have not done well against him when they have faced him. Mitch Keller is pitching for Pittsburgh. He's the more established pitcher. And I know I said that I liked him, and I think he's kind of an underrated pitcher, but he hasn't been good recently. He's got a 4.81 ERA now, and his whip has gone up a bit, 1.23, although his whip is still indicative that his ERA should be a bit better than it is. Keller has been worse at home, 5.22 home ERA, so he's not on the good side of his home road splits here. He's been awful in his last 2 outings. He's gotten knocked around big time against Minnesota and Atlanta. Atlanta's more excusable than Minnesota, but he's not in good form. Like, really, 4 of his last 5 starts have been pretty bad. And the one good one, he walked 3 guys against Toronto. Toronto has not been a good offense this year. Keller has some issues right now. His hit rate is still pretty good, although he's been way more hittable recently, which is bad. His walk rate's not very good. His strikeout rate is really low, too. Yeah, he's not pitching well right now, and he has not been good against the Dodgers either. 80 at-bats, 19 strikeouts, 10 walks, 312 average, 1,001 OPS allowed. Not good. Not good at all. So I like the Dodgers in this game. That's the way I would play it. I think they still have a bullpen advantage here. They should have the starting pitching edge here, as I just showed you. They're the better team. They have the better offense as well. Dodgers are around minus 160, though. So you could money line it, but I know it's really juicy. 86% of tickets, 91% of the cash on the Dodgers. It looks like the money is kind of backing them here. I would probably split bet it and make it a run line play. Like make your own -1 run line or find a -1 out there. The total's also high, so you might be able to get enough runs to get that one done. Total at 9.5. I think the Dodgers have been fairly good at scoring on the road as well, so that does help you out here as well. Another possibility here is to, you could just go Dodgers over their team total. If you think Robleski is kind of a mystery, and he is probably due to regress at some point here. And, you know, this is not the easiest pitching matchup to pitch against a good Pittsburgh offense that is good at home. So I could see Dodgers over their team total being a way to play this game for sure. You'll probably need them to get, I don't know. You might need them to get 6 runs here, though. It'll either be 5 or 6. I don't know what it'll be, but that is a way of playing that. They could definitely do it. Seattle at Baltimore. These teams have split this series. Baltimore did just end a 4-game losing streak. So, again, that should give them some new momentum. And I know I said the same thing about Pittsburgh, but I don't like their matchup there at all. I don't like Baltimore's matchup here either because they're going up against Brian Wu. So, you know, I like Wu. Seattle only used 1 guy out of the bullpen yesterday, so they have a bullpen edge here for sure. Baltimore only used 2, but Seattle's got the better bullpen. Baltimore's number 9 team, but their bullpen ERA is quite bad. Seattle's ERA is like a 1.5 better, even though they're only ranked 15th. Seattle's bullpen is definitely the better one. Baltimore is a little bit better offensively than Seattle. Baltimore is, where are they? 11th, Seattle 15th. Brian Wu, like I said, is pitching for Seattle. Generally, he is good. His ERA is higher than it usually is, though, 3.74, but his whip is 1, which is good. So his ERA should probably be a bit lower than that. He's struggled on the road, though. That is one concern here. 5.08 road ERA is not good. Seattle's much more pitcher-friendly, and he's much better in Seattle, which does make sense. I think Wu has gotten somewhat unlucky, though. Like in his last outing, he had 7 strikeouts, no walks, but he gave up 5 runs against Detroit. I think that's a little bit of an outlier. Like, I don't think he actually pitched poorly in that game with that strikeout walk ratio. His strikeout walk ratio is really good on the season. His strikeout rate's not even really that low, really. His hit rate is low, too. His walk rate is pretty low. He's got good numbers across the board, and Baltimore has not done well against him in the past. They only have 6 hitters who have faced him, but they have 35 at-bats, 143 average, 589 OPS, 12 strikeouts, 2 walks, though they have hit 3 home runs off him, which is a bit much. But Wu generally has done quite well against Baltimore. Baltimore is going with Kyle Bradish, who has a 3.89 ERA, which looks good, but his 1.51 whip tells you otherwise. He has not actually been good. That whip is terrible. He is good at home, though, 2.38 home ERA, so he's been significantly better at home. But he's had 3 walks exactly in 4 of his last 5 outings. Is that what that is? Yeah, that's not good. And, a couple of them were against Toronto. Not a good offense. I don't really trust this guy. He's got a decent strikeout rate. His hit rate is okay, right around 1 per inning, but his walk rate is clearly way too high. So I don't like that profile, just way too many walks. That could obviously lead to your undoing. He hasn't been that bad against Seattle, although his OPS is high. 43 at-bats against Seattle, 13 strikeouts, 4 walks, 233 average allowed is low, but they've hit him for power. They got a lot of power numbers against him. 810 OPS, which is pretty, it's fairly high, so I got to lean to Seattle in this one. They got a bullpen edge. They have the better pitcher on the mound. The home road splits, though, do favor Bradish here. That is maybe one concern here, but I would trust Wu a bit more, plus Seattle's bullpen. That's the way I would lean. I would be Seattle here. We got Seattle correct in the first game of this series. Haven't been back involved in the series since then. Don't think I really want to do it here, but I like Seattle. The money seems to agree, and you're getting a nice price on it. They're like minus 114 or so here, so you get a decent price on Seattle. 61% of tickets, 74% of the cash on Seattle. That's the way I would lean. Moneyline, Seattle. Totals at 8.5. Money kind of coming in on the over in that game. I don't really have a good feel for the total in that game, really. There's some conflicting factors there, but I would prefer, playing Seattle on the money line in that game. And then we have Atlanta against the White Sox. The White Sox, believe it or not, are attempting to sweep Atlanta here, but Atlanta is the better team, and White Sox won each game by 1 run, including that walk-off by Montgomery. I'm not sure we'll ever hear from him again, but he had that walk-off in his Major League debut. And then the White Sox won again yesterday. Davis Martin was good in the game. I should have put that on my card, man. I liked the first 5 under in that game, and that was a winner. Yesterday, the full game also was. So Sale versus Martin in that game wound up being a pitching duel, which is what I thought. This game may not be much of a pitching duel, although we don't know. I mean, this is going to be difficult to kind of figure this out. Atlanta used 3 guys out of the bullpen yesterday. They have the better bullpen. The White Sox used 3 as well. Atlanta is still number 1 in bullpen, both in whip and in ERA, and it's kind of by a bit of a significant margin now. They're the only bullpen with a sub-3 ERA. This is a good bullpen. White Sox bullpen is not. They're number 18. Not great. Not the worst, though. Atlanta number 3 in offense, and the White Sox number 5. So both teams have been able to hit. Interesting pitching matchup where you have, I think, 2 guys that are kind of overperforming here. Martin Perez is pitching for the Braves. He's been good, and his whip is good, too. 3.02 ERA, 1.06 whip. Like I always keep pointing out, he's a journeyman pitcher. He's kind of old now. Doesn't rely on velocity, though. He relies on command and placing his pitches correctly. He throws junk, but he's been pretty good. Maybe that will, maybe it will unravel a bit. He's been better at home, though. He's not as good on the road, which is where he is now, 4.25 road ERA. So that's a little bit of a concern that he's on the road here. He did do okay last time out against Pittsburgh. Was able to get the win against Pittsburgh and didn't do too terribly, so that's not bad. He's been going around 5 or so innings in every outing, allowing 2-3 runs, basically. He's been pretty serviceable here. He's got a really low hit rate. His walk rate is a bit too high, and his strikeout rate is not high, but he is not a strikeout pitcher. But yeah, he's been decent, and I guess until we see him really start unraveling, I don't really want to fade him necessarily. The White Sox only have 4 hitters who have ever faced him, but Benintendi and Grichuk have both seen him a lot. They have 43 at-bats combined between these 4 guys. 9 strikeouts, 3 walks, 279 average, only a 652 OPS, though. So they've hit him for contact, but not so much for power. And some of the guys haven't even faced him, so this matchup doesn't look that bad for him. Anthony Kay is pitching for the White Sox. He's kind of a converted reliever. He's got a 4.4 ERA. His whip is not good, though. 1.45 whip, that is bad. He's been good at home, though, a 3 home ERA. So he's in the better of his home road splits here. He was not good in his last game, though, at Philadelphia. They definitely got to him. So that's not a great sign. But he was pitching more than capably in the previous few starts prior to that. The White Sox won 5 starts in a row of his, and he allowed 2 or fewer earned runs in all of those. So he had a really good May, but it looks like he is kind of falling out of form here. And his whip really suggests that he's not that good. Like, don't look at his 5-1 record, because he's gotten a little bit lucky, and he's had some run support in some of these games as well. Not a lot, though. Not as much as you would expect. His hit rate is not even good. It's like more than 1 per inning. His walk rate is okay-ish, and his strikeout rate is really low. I think he's less trustworthy than Perez, really. His numbers against the Braves, they haven't really seen that much of him. 12 at-bats, 250 average, 750 OPS. It's right in line, like right on those averages there. So I don't know what to think about that. 2 strikeouts, no walks. I don't know. I probably would lean to the Braves here to avoid the sweep. I mean, they're the better team here. They got the better bullpen. That could help them out. I probably trust Perez a little bit more, even though he hasn't been as good on the road. You get a really reasonable price on the Braves here at minus 118, which I know that worries me, though, because it looks way too easy to play the Braves. But the White Sox have been kind of an overhyped team, though, man. Like, the public seems to really like the White Sox because they like these teams that go from being really horrible to playing really well, and especially if their offense is good. But yeah, I think Perez is just a bit more trustworthy, man. I mean, he's had the much more full-fledged career here. Money seems to agree with this. 82% of tickets, 94% of the cash on Atlanta. So that is the way I would go in this game, probably, if I was going to play it. You get the better bullpen behind you, too, if you go Atlanta Moneyline. I worry that it still seems way too easy, though, to take the team with the best record in baseball or whatever at this small of a price. But I think they probably get it done here and avoid the sweep. White Sox, 81% of the tickets, the over has 81% of tickets, 91% of the cash on it. Total at 8.5. I don't really have a good read on the total there. Money seemingly indicating towards the over a bit there, though. Atlanta does score a decent amount on the road, so I guess something to keep in mind there. But both pitchers have been holding opposing offenses down, though, so I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily would want to go over in that game. But probably Atlanta money line is what makes the most sense there. I don't really think the White Sox are going to be looking ahead, though. Who are they playing? They're playing the Dodgers next. White Sox have a difficult schedule through these last couple series here, man. But I don't think they're going to overlook Atlanta, though, even though they've already won the series. It's still a big game against Atlanta, so I don't really see them overlooking the game. But I think I still lean Atlanta there. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'll finish the rest of these sports. I'll do WNBA next, where I'm skipping the WNBA yet again. I just don't have an angle for it, man. Being very selective with the WNBA, but it's worked out well. Maybe once cup play is over, it'll be better to find situations, but I just don't really see any good situations recently. I'll be right back. All right. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, because I was going to put on NFL Network, Disney taking over NFL Network and RedZone. I told you that was fucked and that they were going to destroy everything. Well, guess what? I have Comcast here for cable. They're in a contract dispute with Disney, so I don't have NFL Network or RedZone now, even though I pay for them. Fuck you. Fuck off. It's complete bullshit, dude. Absolute fucking bullshit. Fuck Disney. I fucking hate this shit. I knew that they were just gonna destroy everything, because that's what they do. They've destroyed Star Wars. Yeah, man. Yeah, they've destroyed RedZone, NFL Network, and now I can't even watch them anymore. So isn't that just fucking great? I hate it. WNBA, all right. I don't even know what I'm saying about the WNBA here. We have 4 cup games here. Chicago and Indiana is the first game. It's on Amazon Prime. Indiana just beat Washington barely, so they got a cup win there. I don't even know what's going on with the cup, like who's eliminated now, whatever. Indiana looks like they've won 2 of 3 cup games. They're a good team, though. You know, they're better than their record looks, as long as their coach stops being an idiot. Chicago, I think, is better than their record looks, too, though. Chicago, they've struggled recently. They're coming off a tough game against Atlanta, though. Atlanta, not a bad team in the battle of Angel Reese. Angel Reese won. But Chicago, I don't know, man. I mean, they've lost a lot of games recently, though. This game, I think I'd probably lean Atlanta, because Chicago is coming off that tough game against Atlanta. I think I lean Indiana, because Chicago's coming off the tough game against Atlanta. Indiana's only returning home from they're returning home from a 2-game road trip, so I guess, that's something, but I don't know how much I care about that, really. They were gone for less than a week. Not too bad. I talk about the road trip returns. You return, you can be distracted upon returning home, but I don't think that's going to be the case there. They also only play Connecticut next, which is not a big deal at all. So, yeah, I think I would lean to Indiana here. Plus, there's a reason why Indiana is 9.5-point favorites here, or 10. Like, people are going to look at this. Indiana's only 1 game above 500. Why would you want to lay that price with them, right? But the odds makers are favoring them by that much for a reason. I think Chicago has a bunch of injuries right now, too. Like, I think Chicago is not that bad of a team, but I think they have some major injuries right now, which is factoring into this, too. And factoring into why they're not playing well recently. 58% of tickets, 67% of the cash on Indiana. Money indicating on Indiana. I'd probably agree with that and lean that way, but I don't have a strong opinion. I don't have any strong opinion on any of these. New York at Atlanta. New York has won 5 games in a row now. They've won every cup game they've played so far. They just beat Connecticut. Really easy win there. It was in kind of a sandwich spot, and I think they might have still covered that number. Barely. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. It was somewhere, the final score was somewhere close to the spread, but whatever. Now they're playing Atlanta. Atlanta did just beat Chicago, but they got a little bit of a scare there against Chicago. Atlanta was favored on the road in that game, I'm pretty sure, and they got a little bit of a scare. Maybe they were looking a little bit ahead to New York here. These teams are good. These teams are both going to be playoff teams, most likely. Atlanta is favored at home. I'd probably lean that way. The money is indicating that way. I don't really have, again, I don't have a strong feel for it. New York, 71% of tickets on them. They're coming off an easy game, though, New York is. Atlanta is coming off a game where they got a scare, though, like I said, and sometimes you want to take a good team coming off a scare like that. Atlanta, minus 4.5. There is a reason why they're laying points here like this. 85% of the cash on Atlanta. And if you look at the team's records here, Atlanta 8-3, New York 8-4. It makes it seem like the public might want to lean towards the underdog in a game like that because they think, oh, it's 2 good teams. It's going to be a close game, right? But I don't know. I think I would lay it with Atlanta on that one if I was going to play it. It does look like there's a public versus professional split in that game in the money there. Phoenix at Dallas. Dallas is definitely playing decently this year. They're an up-and-coming team. They did just get blown out by Minnesota, though, and that might be kind of return to earth type of game. Like, they were on a 4-game win streak, so losing momentum like that could hurt you and hang you over into the next game. But they got blown out by Minnesota, so maybe they potentially bounce back from that. But I don't like teams that are off losing a win streak, and I don't like teams that are returning home, which Dallas is. They went out to LA and then Minnesota, so they've been away for almost a week. I don't love that, and possibly they overlook Phoenix because Phoenix has a bad record here. Phoenix is coming off a tough game too, though. In the Cup, they had a close game against Golden State. They're a decent team, so both teams are kind of in bad spots here, although I think Phoenix is not as bad as their record looks. They face a pretty difficult schedule here. What do we do with this game? The money's coming in on Dallas. I think I slightly disagree with that one. Dallas is around 6.5, 7 here. 77% of tickets, 87% of the cash on them. I think Phoenix is a little bit under the radar here. Like, again, I think because of their record, I think they might be a little bit undervalued. I'd probably lean towards taking the points with Phoenix. Dallas, it looks like the spot for them might be a little bit worse as well, but not a good read on that game either. And then Vegas at Portland. Kind of a mismatch here, although it is on the road for Vegas here. Portland's lost 3 games in a row. They are returning home from LA right now, but only a single game road trip there. Vegas has been playing well. They've won every game in Cup play so far, I'm pretty sure. And I think Portland has lost all of theirs. So Portland will probably get up for this game because you got Vegas coming to your house, you know what I mean? And Vegas has not had to travel there yet. So it's kind of a weird travel spot for Vegas to have to go to Portland, go to this expansion team they haven't had to face yet, or they haven't had to go to this arena yet. So it makes it a little bit weird. And they do play Minnesota next, which is a CBS and Paramount Plus game. That's a big game. That was supposed to be the finals matchup last year before Collier got hurt. So they might be looking ahead a little bit. So I would lean to Portland in this game. Probably they're going to be a little bit desperate to get some sort of win here. Vegas is minus 9.5. Vegas is a very public side. 91% of the tickets, 88% of the cash on them. Yeah, I would lean towards taking the points with Portland there. Although I don't think Portland is as good as their record looks. I think they're above 500, and I just don't think they're that good. Oh, no, they're below 500 now. So, yeah, whatever. I think Toronto is above 500. I don't know. I get the two expansion teams confused. They're the same to me, but whatever. I don't have anything there. Stanley Cup, I don't have a good read on this game either. Vegas and Carolina. Series is tied 2-2. Each team has won 1 game on the road and 1 game at home. So the teams have been the same in the series, basically home and away. I think there is a little bit of a home. I thought there would be a little bit more of a home advantage in the series, but it looks like maybe there isn't. Carolina won the last game 5-3. There was an empty net goal in the game. They blew a 3-0 lead in the game. It was 2-0. My mistake. 2-0. 3-1. They blew a 3-1 lead in the in the second period. Sorry. But yes, they had an empty net goal at the end. Carolina had more shots, so they did have more opportunities. So their offensive possession was better in the game, and they won the face-off battle. So the final score wasn't that misleading. Vegas had more hits, but yeah, Carolina was a bit the better team in the game, not by a lot, but better. I've been rooting for Vegas here just to cripple everybody else's brackets, and because I think the hate against Carter Hart is completely unjustified and bullshit. Carolina, you got to worry about their goaltending situation, though, because the fact that they benched Anderson, I guess they're going to continue to go in with Bussy here, but Bussy is a young guy, man. He's inexperienced, and when you get to like a game 5 like this in a tight series, pressure starts mounting. This is a high-pressure situation, and Vegas has the more experienced players. Like, they have more pedigreed players here. That might come into play here. I don't know, man. I don't really love the Carolina switch goaltenders. Plus, if they want to go with Anderson again, they bring him back in, his confidence might be shaken because they took him out. So I don't really love that. I don't like when teams are making goaltender changes like this, like in the middle of a final series. I don't like it. So I think that could be a negative. It could have impact here. we'll see. I mean, Bussy did give up that lead in that last game. He wasn't great. Neither goalie was that good in that last game. There weren't that many shots in the game. Their save percentages were very similar. Of course, Carolina had an empty net goal, so that was not on Hart. Yeah, that's basically what I have to say about this. Vegas is favored by about the same that they were in the other home games. They're like minus 160. Oh, no, actually, they've gone down a bit. They're off the board. What is going on? They're off the board at the online books. I don't know what's going on here. The Vegas books only have them at minus 140 something now. I don't know what's going on there, but it looks like they were like minus 160 or so. But it's off the board now, so I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what's going on with this. We don't have percentages to look at here either. The total is off the board too. What's happening in this game? Or maybe this board is just fucked up right now. I don't know. The total looked like it was high, though. It was like 6.5 almost. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably be looking to an under, man. I think every game in the series has gone over, but this could be an under. When you have a 2-2 series, a lot of times defense becomes the focus. You know what I mean? Although maybe I'm too old school, and I remember the dead puck era and whatever, where games were so low scoring in the NHL. But yeah, I mean, every game has gone over. Some game has to go under in this series. Carolina plays a style that's more conducive to the under, so if they play that way here, that might happen as well. These lower scoring games. But yeah, defenses tend to tighten up in a tied series like this in Game 5, so under possibly a consideration in that game. I don't know, man. Besides the over in that game, there's a reason why that's the only play I gave. I don't even like that. Really, the over, but I gave it out as a play because a lot of things seem to line up for it. This is a very, very bad board. Like, I don't want to force shit here. I don't know. Like, one of my stronger opinions, maybe the Dodgers. Whatever. Yeah, what did I say? Dodgers team total over, maybe, and Seattle Mariners, maybe. I don't know. I really don't know. Like, my opinions are not strong here. This board is horrible. I don't want to be forced into giving out opinions, although if you bet your own money, that's on you. So, all right, I'll talk about the World Cup, but I don't have much to say here. These games are on Fox Sports 1, and Peacock. We have two World Cup matchups today to open up the World Cup. One in the afternoon, which is, both of these are in Mexico. Hey, bro, I thought the U.S. was hosting here. What the fuck? Why are these games in Mexico? And it just so happens that Mexico is playing in the first game against South Africa in Mexico City. I don't know much about these teams. I know Mexico is the better team, and they're at home, so they're a minus 235 favorite. They're probably going to win. What should you do with this game? Probably nothing. I don't know if I see any value there. And you can go watch my World Cup preview video. It was pretty quick. I talked about it last night, just generally, what the futures odds look like and how to bet soccer, basically. This South Korea Czech Republic game, though, this is in Mexico as well, which is bizarre. I kind of lean South Korea in this one, though, because I think that the general thought, like when people think about these two teams, they always lean to the European team. Like, because soccer, when people think about soccer, right, what do they think about? Europe and South America and Central America, right? Like, that's pretty much what you think. You don't think Asia. So I think South Korea actually is a slight favorite over Czech Republic here. They're plus 170 or so, but Czech Republic is about plus 180 or something on the three-way line. So the odds makers are telling you they actually think South Korea is the slightly better team here. And they've been kind of a surprise in the World Cup in some recent World Cups that they've been in. I would lean South Korea here. If you were going to play it, I don't know anything about the personnel or anything like that. This is just my read on which team I think might be being overlooked here a little bit. I would do one of the types of bets that I talked about last night to get the best price on this, the one in the range that you're looking for. I would say South Korea, do a draw no bet on South Korea, which means that You're playing South Korea. The price is going to be about minus 117, probably something in that range, minus 120, whatever it is. You're playing on South Korea, and if they win, you'll win your bet. But if they draw, then the bet will basically be voided, or it'll kind of be a push. But if they lose, you'll lose. But I don't know how likely that is that happens. So I think South Korea draw no bet kind of makes some sense in this one. I'm not going to give out a play on that. I don't know if I'm going to give out any plays in the World Cup here, but that would probably be, if I was going to look at either of these games today, that might be what I would do. But I know nothing about soccer, so don't listen to me. But that's kind of my read on that. That to me, it seems like the European team would, like, the public would think the European team would be the better team here, but the odds makers are telling you the teams are closely matched. So I think that's it. That's going to do it. You can go watch my World Cup preview that I did late last night. It's a very short video. It's like 20 minutes probably. I'm going to get that up on audio. I got to get everything up on audio. My only play today is this horrible Minnesota-Detroit over 9.5 in baseball. All the splits line up for it, so hopefully we can get that one done. And we get some bad bullpens to fade there. Learn to Toad on Twitter, Learn to Toad on Instagram. Like, subscribe to the channel here, and you'll get notified when I go live randomly at 2 a.m. like I did last night after I got home from the Les Claypool extravaganza that I went to last night, featuring 3 of his bands, including Primus, and the 2 Sean Lennon bands. It was fun. What else? I talked about it on that show last night, too. We're on audio, Apple, Spotify, Spreaker. Go check that out there. That helps me out, too. Covered in Uke, my Uke cover channel on YouTube. There are some originals on there, too, and I'm thinking about maybe getting some more originals going, maybe going with album number 2. I have 1 Uke album so far that I've done. Got to get back to some writing. Got to get some inspiration. It might be from random weird life events, though. That's usually how I get inspired. So, even though the first album was about a chick on Twitter. So, what else do we have to say here? Patreon.com/LearnToToad. You can find me there if you want to throw me support that way. Losercast every Tuesday night, and the Giants G-Spot podcast, which is a thing, but we still need to get that going. That's going to do it. I appreciate it, everybody. Peace.
But don't you go quiet, don't you fade from the floor. Your name still means something to somebody for sure. Put the glass down, baby. Look at me now.